Hey there, friends. Welcome back to season 2. Who the heck did I marry? Episode 4. I had to cut that last video short at the very end. So I'm here now, jumping in where we left off. I had been on my first date with Ken, and we had been answering 20 questions, and I had told him about my choice to save myself until marriage. And when we were driving home in the car, he and I are kind of talking about my choice. And, he was a little bit, kind of trying to make me feel comfortable about the fact that I had told him. He's like, you didn't need to keep it a secret. That's okay. He had been telling me about how he was raised in a Christian church, how, I told you about his piano playing and how amazing he was. He had played the keyboard in the worship band, and that definitely like church was important to him. And so he absolutely respected my choice. And then he wanted to give me a bit of what he would call, like private information, or share something that he doesn't tell everybody always on a first date either, so that we kind of felt like we were on equal footing. Okay. So as we are driving home, or he's driving me home to my house, he then tells me that in his family, it is hereditary that men seem to lose their hair very young in life. And I kind of look up at his head and I say, your hair looks great. And he says, thank you so much, because it's not mine. Okay. What does that mean? So he then explains to me how his dad had the same problem, lost his hair very young in life, and he had to kind of figure out a solution. And his dad had tried some things medically, but not surgically, and never had any luck with the treatments or tonics that he had tried. So his solution was to find this incredible hairdresser that makes, for lack of a better term, toupees that are permanently attached to the scalp, so that you wash your hair like normal, you can swim, you can obviously brush it and style it and do all the things that you would do with your own hair. The only difference was that I then later learned, because obviously we were together for quite a while, was that every about 8 weeks, he had to go and have it attached. So anyways, at first glance, if I had told you that he wore a hairpiece, you probably wouldn't have known. Most people in his life, just meeting him or that he worked with or whatever, probably did not know this about him. So I understand that that can be something that is very private, and also something that definitely can be something that people could be judgmental about, especially early on in a relationship. So definitely I felt that had really cemented kind of a bond between us, and some trust, that we had both kind of shared private things about ourselves. And I accepted him for what he told me, and he accepted me for what I told him. So he had drove me home, he dropped me off, we had a nice kiss goodnight at the door, and then obviously he went home. So we were at that point just about inseparable. We saw each other every single day. And of course, at this time, 20 years later, I don't remember. He went here, I went there, we were here, we were there. But there were major points of our dating life that definitely were important. So early on in our relationship, again, in that first week probably or two, I found out that he lives with his parents. A little bit of background about him. His parents were married, and his mom was a stay-at-home mom. His dad worked at a company, I will just say worked for a major U.S. car manufacturer, doing computer things for them. And they had lived in Michigan, because car industry, right? Michigan, born and raised in Michigan. Then Ken, had moved to Arizona to go to Arizona State, which we had learned. And the parents, after his dad retired, decided to move here also. So parents are here. He was here doing school. And then his parents, however it came to be, decided to divorce after many, many, many years of life. I'm going to say they were, well, thinking about the age of Ken, I'm going to guess, I don't know, and it's not truly important, but let's just say they had been married 25 years and they decided to divorce. Mom decided to stay here in Arizona, and Dad decided to go back, even though I believe he had been retired, to go back and work more for this car manufacturing company. So Ken is living here in Arizona on his own. Mom is living here in Arizona on her own, and Dad has moved back to Michigan. So then to fast forward, Dad and Mom, after several years apart, had decided that they were better together than apart and that they were going to remarry. So Dad moved back to Arizona with Mom and they got married. Ken stayed in Michigan for a short period of time, but kind of wrapping up, I believe, his job and deciding that moving here with his family was the best choice. And he liked Arizona, so he decided to move here also. It ends up that I met him, the night that I met him at karaoke was like his second or third week back living here in Arizona, and it was just a day after his birthday. So he had spent his birthday with his parents, and then he went out the next night for karaoke with his friends celebrating his birthday. I did not realize that that was the reason that he was at karaoke that night, although he was there every week anyways when he moved back. So just again, giving you a little bit of background so you kind of know where things are going. He is living with his parents, so I met them very quickly in our relationship. The reason for him living there was because he had just moved here. He didn't have a job because he had quit his job in Michigan to move here. He had found a position very quickly, but needed to get a bit of a nest egg going here so that he could obviously get his own place. Well, he meets me and I have my own house. And so as things progressed with us, very quickly you will find the idea of him going to get his own place wasn't necessary because we started making future plans very quickly. Okay. So I had met his parents. They were great. They were all the things that, I probably had hoped in in-laws. His parents seemed supportive. Again, coming from a Christian background, they were Christians, very involved in their church. They had gotten remarried and they seemed very happy to meet me and welcome me into the family. And it seemed like with my faith background, that also made them very excited. So again, things are just clicking. My parents met him and things are moving very fast. So we had been dating for about 3 weeks and we had been dating for about 2 weeks. I'm going to jump in with a quick little story. And he decided to go buy a quad. Now, back in Michigan, he had a quad. He had friends that he went quadding with all the time in the dunes in Michigan. And he wanted to do that here. He really missed his quad. So like I said, we had only been dating for about 2 weeks. He went and bought a quad. And then me and him had gone out, I believe, once on the quad. So he wanted to go camping with the quad and said to me, before I ask any of my friends, do you want to go camping with me? We'll take the quad. And I was a regular camper in high school, college. I had lots of guy friends. I kind of always hung out with the guys and we camped a lot. So, I say a lot, but a couple times a year we went camping. We really enjoyed camping. So I had to go tell my parents, hey, I need to get all my camping gear out because I'm going camping with my boyfriend this coming weekend. And at this time we had been dating for like 3 weeks. So we're getting close to the end of this video. So let me go ahead and say that on the next video, we're going to talk about our camping trip.